Sub 50 and sub zero work is very near and dear to my heart. Basically, that's the method I use to cure myself of that hip pain. The hip pain that kind of plagued me for, man, over a year at least, on and off. The frequency of the pain and struggle increased, tenfold kind of at the start of this year. But it wasn't until I kind of discovered lightweight, super lightweight, sub-zero, sub 50% of my 1 rep max initially, and then I kind of progressed out to sub-zero. So I've got a lot of respect for lightweight, and I will never forget how I cured my pain. It wasn't so much the exercise that I used, it was actually just the rep scheme that I used, which was basically over 10 reps and above, up to 50, up to 100 in certain circumstances. So I have a lot of respect for that. However, in the last, I want to say 3 months, I've kind of experienced kind of the other side of that. I've experienced that these high repetition workouts where I just do stupid volume, and some of you guys have said that it's stupid volume, they come with a great cost. On one hand, they cure your kind of joint aches and they make you feel really, really good. However, the taxing on the body is extreme. And even though like I have pretty good GPP and I have pretty good resilience to this stuff, when you throw in the fact that it's winter in Australia, when you throw in the fact that my boy's going to kidney for the first time and bringing back viruses, work is really busy, lots of sick people, corona, lots of things are happening, the vaccines, all this sort of stuff is happening. Everything has become, a distraction. It's crazy schedule work, so lack of sleep, all of that kind of rolled into one has resulted in me basically getting sick 3 times in 3 months. This is a pattern that, I always look at patterns both in my training and my life. And that basically pattern is unacceptable. So I think I need to make a change. I think when you compare different styles of training that I've done in the past, where I've kind of just gone for singles, doubles and triples, and then when I've gone for like super high weight, super high reps with low weight, sub-zero and sub 50% stuff, I recover much, much easier when I do the singles, the doubles and triples. I've always said it's just so much more easier to do that than to do 3 sets of 100 bodyweight squats. So the recovery for me, at least, you guys might be different, is high weight is nothing to me. I can do 10 sets with no problem, and I feel like I wake up the following day good. However, that is the exact method that gave me the joint pain, right? So on one hand, I recover so quickly systemically from the high weight stuff, but locally in the joints I suffer. On the other hand, I suffer systemically from the high repetition stuff, the cardiovascular stuff. I struggle to recover from that, especially with all the things that I mentioned. However, my joints feel amazing. They're all lubricated and I feel fresh in them. So it's a balancing act. So I need to make a change. And the change that I'm thinking I want to make right now is that I want to drop back some of this sub-zero, sub 50% work, purely because it's winter, purely because I can't afford to get sick again, man. I'm over it. I don't want to do it. And I want to give myself an opportunity to fight these organisms that are attacking me, these pathogens. And when I'm always kind of cooked and fried from doing these high repetition workouts, my body just doesn't have the energy, I guess, to fight it. So I'm making a turn. Again. Not to say that I've kind of made a mistake in the past. I've definitely learned a lot from the high reps. Definitely is going to continue being my work in my training schedule. But I want to drop it down to basically once a week. Once a week, I'm going to do something along the lines of a pig squat, along the lines of 100 bodyweight squats, multiple sets, lunges, Bulgarian split squats, that kind of thing, where you're going 20 and above repetitions. So I'm going to resort that kind of back to one day, especially because of what I said, winter and all of that. And then on the other days, I'm just going to go back to the stuff that all Ivan used to do back in the day. Basically work with singles, doubles, and triples. A couple of days ago, I think this is the 3rd day, I've started reading again my Bible, it seems. By Matt Perriman, Squat Every Day. I've started reading it again. It's been so long that I've read that book that I went on Amazon, tried to buy it again, download it again, and the thing said to me, "You've already got this in your Kindle. Just go into your app." So I was happy to see that it's still there. So I've restarted reading that. I'm like a few chapters in, and it's remarkable. Like I don't know whether you guys read books or whatever. I'm sure a lot of you guys do. You could read the same damn book once, twice, 3 times, 5 times, and every single time you read it again, read through it again, you seem to get something else out of it. It's really, really bizarre. So once again, I'm reading the same book again. It's been at least a few years since I've last read it, and I'm picking up things again. It's my synapses are firing off again. My mind is racing again, like with all the stuff that I've experienced in the Squat Everyday program. Now I've kind of got that knowledge in the back of my head, and I'm like, wow, okay, so this is what's happening here. So I've come back to the book with more information, more experience, and it's becoming even like more value. So if you guys ever want to know what Ivan is thinking, what Ivan's training philosophy is, it's all in that book, man. Read that book. That's basically it. And also the other book by Pavel Tsatsouline, Power to the People. Those 2 books basically are foundational to my philosophy in training. It's so right up my alley. I always felt these thoughts, but until I read those books it wasn't until I read those books that I started thinking, okay, this is actually a thing, my basketball days of training for skill kind of came into full picture when I read these 2 books, and I was like, all right, so I can actually train for strength in the same kind of similar manner. So anyway, all these kind of things kind of running my brain, and this morning I woke up feeling a little bit better. Still, my voice is not 100% as you can hear. And I decided, well, I can't freaking afford to do anything high repetition. I'm not even recovered. But yesterday, that 7-minute workout that I did, the sprint from 0 to 180, man, that thing was it's like nothing, man. It's like nothing happened. So I decided to do a similar thing again. Obviously, it wasn't 7 minutes, a lot longer. It took me basically over an hour. What I did again, I worked up to 180 kilos, and then I stripped the bar back to 160, and I did 10 doubles at 160. So still, I'm far away from my, full strength. My system is still not 100%, but still, I decided to hit a training max for today, which was 180 kilos. And then I decided to do 90% of that weight, which is around 160 kilos, basically shave off 10% of that. And I did 160 for 10 doubles. And that's basically the training session. I still kind of feel like I don't have the pop in my legs. Some of these later sets kind of really slow down on me. But that's kind of what I'm thinking of doing. So if it wasn't for the hip pain back in freaking day 120 or whatever the hell it was, man, I would have never, diverted or come off that highway of thinking of, singles, doubles, and triples. I basically spent out and I went off the road looking for answers for the hip pain. And it took me a very, very long time to work out, to put each muscle group on trial, to put each exercise on trial. I worked out that it wasn't really the freaking exercise, it was actually the damn repetitions that kind of helped me. So it was a long learning process and a lot of stagnation and plateauing in the process. But now I have the tools at hand to, whenever the hip pain ever comes back, if he ever comes back, I'll knock on wood, it doesn't, I have the ability, I have the tools to kind of quickly address it. And how am I going to address it? Well, you guys know, bodyweight squats, Bulgarian split squats, deadlifts, any of those exercises done for a shit ton of reps. It does something to the glutes, it does something to the hamstrings, it does something to the posterior capsule of my hip and restores function again, and my hip pain disappears. I've just done 10 doubles at basically 80% of my true 1 rep max, and I have absolutely no discomfort. I'm sitting here fresh as a fiddle. I'm feeling good about myself. Usually, like back in the day, if I was to do that, my God, I'll be limping out of the freaking garage. I'll be in a lot of pain. Pain will be shooting all the way down to my knee and all that stuff. So I have my suspicions of what it is, and I've kind of changed my suspicion about the hip pain. I truly think it's something good to do with the glutes and the tying with the ITB. I never really knew the freaking ITB actually has any communication with the glutes, but apparently a large portion of the fibers are of the glute max insert into the ITB. And through that connection, do I get referred pain to the TFL, because the TFL also inserts into the ITB. Anyway, I've made videos about this in the past, and so, too much squatting hits the glutes too much and pulls the freaking ITB out of whack, and the TFL starts screaming, and voila, that's where the freaking pain comes from. But anyway, so I'm not hesitant going back to the, high intensity again, low volume again. I'm going in again into this because of a cause, and the cause is I can't afford to get sick again with this Metcon stuff, metabolic conditioning. CrossFitters call it Metcon, metabolic conditioning, which is essentially what high repetition stuff is in a way, even though I still believe there is some sort of muscular benefit there in terms of the 1 rep max, you're building GPP and all that, so it's indirective kind of gains. there is still the systemic fatigue on the system, which drops my immune system, which throwing the shift work, throwing the lack of sleep, throwing the sick kids, throwing busy work and COVID and vaccines and all of that, all of a sudden everyone's susceptible to viruses and colds and things of that nature. So that's where my mind is right now. This is why you guys are seeing me do a whole bunch of doubles. Let's try this. I've said this to you guys in the past. You have to adapt to the vital signs that your body's sending you. You have to adapt to patterns to learn and to progress. And that's, another little adjustment that I've made in the hope that I can stave off another sickness down the track. All right, guys, that's me for today. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.